usually start my reviews with a wrist shot, but I wanted to get this out of the way. If you think this watch wears too small on my wrist, click away. I'm serious, it doesn't even matter how big my wrist is, this is all about your perception. Because even if my wrist were 2 full inches larger than yours, there's a very high chance you'd still think this watch is too small for you, and I just don't want to waste your time. For those who didn't click away, this is the Hult Aquatique GMT. I must admit I wasn't overly enthusiastic about the Aquatic Diver, the debut timepiece from Swedish microbrand Hult. There were stylistic cues I really enjoyed: the blank pen-inspired bezel, the Jubilee bracelet, the elegant handset, but despite being 100% original, I still felt the watch lacked a clear identity and was a bit unbalanced. Luckily for the brand, 89 people disagreed with this take and backed a successful Kickstarter campaign, bringing the watch to life. Now, speaking about this watch, this is one interesting pair of lugs. From above, they look fairly ordinary, but viewed from the side, they reveal an unusual profile where they appear to widen just as the tips begin to fold in. In fact, unlike designers who claim downturns are meant to shape the lugs to the wrist, this feels like evidence of the downturn being used primarily to create a seamless bracelet flow. Speaking of the bracelet, it's not only beautiful and consistent with the overall design, it's also a functional piece of hardware fitted with one of the best on-the-fly micro-adjustable clasps I've ever handled. Unfortunately, this type of clasp does create a slight design dissonance, especially on the gilt version. Another dissonance comes from the type of bezel Hult used here. Traditionally, GMT watches have 48-click bidirectional bezels. Hult decided to choose style over substance by keeping the 120-click unidirectional ball-bearing mechanism from their diver. I asked Oscar, the brand's owner, about it, and he admitted he had a hard time deciding on the type of bezel, but ultimately chose this one because of the great feedback from existing customers. And I must admit, the action is filthy good, smooth, responsive, and precise despite its half-click backplay. No complaints whatsoever about the bezel insert. I'm not a fan of bicolored bezels, but I absolutely love this, especially the caramel mocha of the Terra. The chosen font is both functional and aesthetically pleasing, and on production models it will be mirrored on the date wheel. Not that this will make a huge difference, since the date aperture at 6 is quite small, making it almost decorative in most lighting. I also love how Hult kept the bezel within the confines of the mid-case, giving the watch a very distinct look from this angle. Of course, the thick bezel and boxed double-dome sapphire crystal play a major role in how it looks. One very impressive feat Hult managed to pull off is that, although there's a lot of information on one of the smallest dials I've ever seen, there's absolutely no clutter. In fact, removing any of the numerous details would rob the watch of personality. This is a mature, refined dial, an alternative worthy of microbrand legends like the Monta SkyQuest of Jack Mason's Stratotimer, but at a much lower price. The extreme attention to detail is best expressed in the two dial textures. The graphite features a luxurious dark grey polished disc with a gorgeous sunray sheen, while the Terra's warm gradient is finely grained for a beautifully organic texture. I particularly enjoy the gilt Terra's gold accents, especially the framed date window. However, both Terra models have an inherent issue that some may consider a drawback: Lume longevity. As you can see in the side-by-side shot, the golden lume on their bezels fades considerably faster than the BGW9 on the graphite. In isolation, it won't seem like a major weakness, but the graphite is so strong that the Terra ends up looking weaker than it really is. Also, these are prototypes, so it's safe to expect production models to perform closer to what you see on the left. And speaking of production pieces, the GMT hands Lume will be switched to C3 for easier readability. Another component being revised for production is the crown, and that's great news because I struggled with these tiny knobs, especially since the Miyota 9075 GMT caliber has no quick set date. That's the only real trade-off a true GMT caliber like the 9075 has compared to the simpler NH34 color GMT. When setting the watch, remember, home time is always indicated by the GMT hand on a 24-hour bezel. Whenever traveling to a new time zone, just pull the crown one step and independently adjust the main hour hand. Fit and finish are flawless. For all my complaining about how the clasp or bezel may not perfectly fit the design, their integration and operation are excellent. There are no gaps where the bracelet meets the clasp, the bezel turns effortlessly, and the backplay is accounted for when aligning it with the markers. Markers, hands, and the date frame are perfectly polished, and printing is bold or discreet depending on the variant. The only nitpick is that the upper bracelet link edges are quite sharp. Not the cutting type of sharp, but the snagging a silk shirt kind. Personally, I enjoy the tactile coarseness of the edges. I'm not a fan of wearing sports watches with formal attire, but even I would pair the gilt Terra with a suit. Its modest footprint also adds versatility. It can even be considered unisex. On my 19cm wrist, the watch is right at the edge of being undersized, or at least that's what I thought before successfully trying it on my 20cm right wrist. I think it still looks great, largely thanks to the bracelet, which is why I never even considered trying the watch on alternate straps. You can order the Aquatique GMT at a special introductory price using the link in the video description. Thank you for watching. See you soon.